Beyond the veil of time, there exists a truth long buried, obscured by the ages. Have you ever felt the whisper of an untold mystery, a hidden story longing to be revealed? The name Michael, the Archangel veiled in secrecy, absent from the chronicles of Lucifer's rebellion, or so it seems. But silence does not mean absence. Picture the celestial realm, a kingdom woven with radiant harmony, where the breath of the divine hums in every corner. Heaven was a living song, resounding in perfect balance, and then an unspoken desire took root. A fracture, small, silent, but unstoppable. Lucifer, once God's most radiant creation, stood before the Almighty's throne and questioned the unthinkable. Why not I? Could I not be as he? That whisper of ambition, that spark of pride, ignited a firestorm that trembled the heavens. And in the midst of it all, Michael. Not a bystander, not a distant observer, but a force standing at the heart of destiny itself. What happened in that moment would shape eternity, and now the time has come to unveil what was long hidden. Now you might be wondering, where was Michael during all of this? Many assume he stood at a distance, watching in silence, perhaps unsure of what to do, but that is far from the truth. To grasp the full magnitude of this event, we must first uncover who Michael truly was and why his presence in Lucifer's rebellion was not mere coincidence. It was destiny unfolding. Michael was no ordinary angel. He was an archangel, a being forged in celestial fire, imbued with divine purpose. Imagine a general, not of earthly armies, but of heaven's legions, wielding not mere weapons, but the radiant power of God himself. Michael stood at the very heart of the divine kingdom, an unwavering guardian of the eternal throne. Strength, loyalty, and an unshakable love for the divine defined his existence. So, when the storm of rebellion arose, Michael did not flinch. He did not waver. He was prepared, for he had foreseen the shadows creeping upon the sacred realm. It had begun with whispers, faint at first, like the rustling of unseen winds in the vast expanse of heaven. A shift, almost imperceptible, like the dimming of a star whose light had once shone without question. Lucifer, the most resplendent of all angels, had begun to look upon his own radiance with desire. He had stood beside the throne, basking in its glow, yet something within him had shifted. Why should I not ascend higher? He must have thought. Why should I not sit upon the throne of the Most High? This was never destined to be an easy battle. Lucifer, once the morning star, had mastered the art of deception. His words, like poisoned honey, lured many angels to his cause. He whispered of freedom, of a throne that could be taken, of a rule beyond God's will. He spoke of a heaven where no master reigned, where all were their own sovereigns, free to shape eternity as they pleased. And many listened, but there was one who did not. Michael had always known. He had watched the shift in Lucifer's gaze, had sensed the discord forming like a storm cloud on the horizon. He had stood in silent witness as brother turned against brother, as the seeds of betrayal were sown among the host of heaven. And when the moment came, when Lucifer finally spoke the words of defiance, Michael did not hesitate. He stepped forward. Michael, the one who stood closest to the divine. Michael, the one whose name was itself a challenge. Who is like God? It was not a question. It was a statement, a defiance against the arrogance that now threatened to tear heaven apart. Lucifer had ambition, he had power, he had countless angels who had turned to his cause, their wings darkened by rebellion, their voices raised in defiance against the one who had created them. But Michael had something greater. He had faith, he had purpose, ordained since the dawn of creation itself. This was not merely a battle between two archangels. This was the reckoning of all things, the test upon which the fate of the celestial realms would turn. The moment had arrived, and Michael, with unwavering certainty, stepped onto the battlefield. Can you imagine that battle? The heavens themselves trembled, light clashed against shadow, the firmament of eternity shook as swords of divine fire met the twisted power of the fallen. Michael, radiant in celestial armor, stood as the vanguard of the divine host, his presence alone a beacon of unwavering resolve. Lucifer, once a brother, now a nemesis, unleashed all the might he had stolen, his fury like a storm raging against the order of heaven. But Michael did not falter. His voice thundered across the celestial plain. "Who is like God?" The words rang out, not merely as a battle cry, but as a decree of ultimate truth. And as the battle raged, as the forces of rebellion clashed against the armies of light, Michael pressed forward, wielding not only the sword of divine wrath, but the unbreakable power of faith itself. The fallen fought with desperation, but they were fighting against something they could never overcome. For they had severed themselves from the source of all strength, while Michael stood steadfast within it. And so, one by one, the rebels faltered. One by one, they fell. Until at last, there was only Lucifer, the morning star, now cast in shadow, now trembling before the might of heaven's greatest warrior. He had once believed himself untouchable, beyond defeat. But now he stood upon the precipice, and before him stood Michael, unwavering, unyielding, unbreakable. And with one final clash, the battle was decided. Lucifer, the fallen, was cast down. He and his followers, stripped of their glory, hurled from the heights of heaven into the abyss below. The gates of the celestial kingdom sealed behind them, never to open again. And Michael, he stood upon the battlefield, victorious, not by his own strength, but by the power of the divine that had always flowed through him. This was not merely a victory in war. This was a testament to truth itself, that no force, no ambition, no rebellion could ever stand against the will of the Almighty. But the war was not over. Lucifer had fallen, yes, but his influence would seep into the world of men, corrupting, deceiving, turning hearts away from the light. And so Michael, the eternal guardian, the celestial warrior, remains ever watchful. He does not rest, he does not waver. He waits for the final battle yet to come. Michael's unwavering devotion to the divine meant that he stood ever vigilant, attuned to the currents of celestial will. Unbeknownst to him, all that he had endured, all the silent battles within, were mere prelude to the greatest trial he would ever face. And then, in the vast expanse of heaven, where light shimmered in endless glory, a shift occurred. Subtle at first, like the whisper of a distant storm, then undeniable, an unraveling of cosmic harmony. It began with Lucifer. Once radiant beyond measure, his presence was a beacon among angels, his wisdom surpassing many, but beneath that luminous exterior, something stirred. An ember of pride, growing into a blaze of self-exaltation. The heavens bore witness to his silent contemplation, the glimmer in his eyes shifting, not with devotion, but with a question unspoken. Why not I? Lucifer's fall did not happen in a single moment, nor with a single thought. It was a descent as gradual as twilight creeping upon the horizon. He walked among the angels, his voice as smooth as flowing water, whispering of a kingdom unshackled, of a throne unshared. And one by one they listened. The firmament, once resounding with hymns of unity, now trembled under the weight of murmurs, the slow erosion of faith. Yet Michael saw. From the heights where celestial order reigned, he watched with solemn clarity. He felt the subtle discord before it took form, sensed the trembling balance before it tipped. To others, Lucifer's transformation may have seemed sudden, but Michael had known from the moment the first shadow flickered upon his once illustrious countenance. Then came the fateful moment. Lucifer, standing upon the threshold of defiance, cast aside servitude and proclaimed dominion. No longer would he bow, no longer would he serve. He desired the throne not as a subject, but as sovereign. The declaration rippled through heaven, a shudder through the very fabric of existence. The celestial realms darkened, as if mourning what was about to unfold. 1/3 of the angelic host, ensnared by Lucifer's honeyed words, stood behind him, their radiance dimmed, their allegiance severed. Yet, in the midst of this brewing tempest, Michael did not waver. He had seen this moment before it arrived. He had stood ready before the battle had begun. For even in heaven, the fall of one begins long before they reach the ground. Michael stood at the threshold of destiny, his heart a vessel of unwavering devotion. He knew, with the certainty of the heavens, that this was the moment all of creation would remember. The rebellion was not just a challenge, it was a defiance against the very order of existence, a shadow stretching to consume the light. He could not allow Lucifer's deception to unravel the fabric of heaven. Lucifer, once radiant, had whispered doubts into the hearts of angels, his voice laced with false promises of power and self-rule. "Why bow when you could rise?" he had told them, weaving illusions of grandeur, of a dominion unshackled from divine will. 1/3 of heaven had succumbed, their once pure essence darkened by the poison of ambition. But Michael saw through it. His spirit did not waver. He was not merely a warrior, he was the hand of divine justice. He moved among the faithful, his presence a beacon of strength. "Remember who we are," his voice resounded, not merely words but an unshakable truth. "We were not created for pride. We were created for love, for loyalty. The Most High is not a tyrant, but a father, and we shall stand with him." Those who had wavered found their resolve rekindled, their faith burning anew. Michael did not act blindly. He wove heaven's defenses with precision, ensuring that every angel knew their role. Some were sent to fortify the sacred gates, others to protect the celestial archives, where the knowledge of eternity was guarded. The archangels formed a vanguard, prepared to meet Lucifer's forces head-on. The heavens trembled as the two legions took their places, one shrouded in defiance, the other armored in righteousness. And yet, beneath the strategy and preparation, a deeper truth stirred. This was more than a battle of might. It was a fulfillment of prophecy, a moment etched in divine foresight. Long before this war, Michael's name had been a question: who is like God? And now that question would be answered, not through words, not through argument, but through unwavering faith. As the celestial armies stood poised, time itself seemed to hold its breath. Michael knew that heaven's fate hung in the balance, and yet he did not fear. For in the end, darkness could never triumph over the light. Now we step into the veiled chronicles of time, where celestial forces clashed in a battle not of mere might, but of destiny itself, the great war in heaven. This was no earthly conflict, no clash of swords upon soil, but a cosmic upheaval, a rupture in the fabric of divine order. The heavens trembled as the eternal balance was threatened. On one side stood Lucifer, the morning star turned into the bringer of shadows, now bearing the name Satan, the adversary. Around him, a host of fallen ones, their once radiant forms now twisted by defiance. Opposing them was Michael, the guardian of light, the chosen defender of God's dominion. The book of Revelation whispers of this cosmic war. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. Revelation 12:7-8. The battle did not begin with the clashing of weapons, but with a silence so deep it resonated through the celestial expanse, as if all of creation held its breath. Then came the first cry of rebellion, a sound not heard since the dawn of existence, and with it the heavens roared to life. Wings of fire and lightning unfurled, celestial beings became streaks of divine energy tearing across the firmament. The echoes of their clash rippled through eternity. and where they fought, the very essence of creation trembled. Michael did not fight with mere strength. He fought with purpose, with faith so absolute that it formed an unbreakable shield against the tide of corruption. Lucifer, once his brother in celestial harmony, now stood as his sworn adversary, wielding deception, fury, and all the dark forces he had gathered. But there was something Lucifer had forsaken, the eternal power that flows only to those who remain within the divine will. As the battle raged on, the fabric of the cosmos itself seemed to shudder, but step by step, blow by blow, Michael pressed forward. The light within him grew brighter, an unyielding force against the abyss. Lucifer faltered, his forces crumbling under the weight of truth. And then the moment of reckoning arrived, a moment foreseen in the hidden pages of time. In a final resounding decree of divine judgment, Lucifer and his rebels were cast out. Like falling stars, they plummeted from the heights of eternity, their cries lost in the void. The gates of heaven sealed behind them, and silence once again claimed the celestial realm. But this was not the end. It was merely the beginning of a war that would stretch across time itself, reaching into the very souls of humanity. The echoes of that ancient rebellion still whisper in the winds of the world, and the battle between light and darkness continues, not in heaven, but here among us. After an arduous and celestial battle, the heavens trembled as Michael, wielding the unshakable power of the divine, struck down the rebellion. But this victory was not his alone. The scriptures tell us that Michael was not merely a warrior, but an instrument of God's will. It was through the boundless power of the Almighty that he became an unstoppable force, a luminous sentinel against the darkness that sought to devour heaven itself. Then came the final confrontation. Imagine the scene. Two beings once woven from the same divine light, now locked in a conflict that would echo through eternity. Lucifer, once the morning star, now stood as a shadow of his former radiance, his pride the chain that bound him to his fate. Michael, the celestial guardian, stood firm, his presence a testament to unwavering faith. And with one final resounding decree from heaven, the battle was decided. Lucifer could not withstand the force of God's justice. His defiance shattered, and the heavens bore witness to the great fall. As Revelation 12:9 foretells, the great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray, can you see it? A once brilliant being, now a streak of burning sorrow, tumbling from grace like a dying star, his rebel host trailing behind him in a silent requiem. But do not be deceived. This was not the end. It was only the beginning. Cast from heaven, Lucifer did not vanish into oblivion. Instead, his darkness found a new dominion. The war that once shook the celestial realm did not cease. It merely shifted, bleeding into our world. It is a war not of swords, but of souls, not fought in the heavens, but in the choices we make each day. And so the question remains, if heaven itself was not untouched by rebellion, how can we, mere mortals, ignore the battle raging unseen around us? The echoes of that ancient war still whisper in the winds, calling us to choose light or darkness, truth or deception. The battle is not over. It never was. Now we have unveiled the veiled, glimpsed the unseen, a fraction of the great mystery surrounding Angel Michael and Lucifer's rebellion. But let this be clear. The message hidden within these events is far greater than what can be spoken, greater than what can be seen. If you find yourself drawn to the whispers of the unseen, to truths that flicker just beyond the grasp of the mind, you have arrived at the right place. This is no ordinary path. It is a journey into the mysteries woven into the fabric of existence itself. Our channel, Christ Calling, is your gateway to these forgotten echoes, revealing what has long been concealed. Stay with us, for what is yet to be uncovered will call to you in ways you cannot yet understand. Now, return with me to the figure of Michael, not as a distant legend, but as a force, a presence that lingers through time and beyond the boundaries of the known. Michael's story is not a tale to be told. It is an experience to be lived. Let us step into his path, let us feel what he felt, and in doing so, let us find in his unwavering faith a reflection of our own inner battles. You stand at the threshold of uncertainty. A tempest rages, unseen yet tangible, swirling in the depths of your own soul. What will you choose? Michael stood firm, unshaken, as the heavens trembled. His friend, his brother Lucifer, had turned against the divine order, yet Michael did not waver. Will you? The winds of doubt may howl, the darkness may beckon, but your truth, your light, can stand unyielding. In every moment of trial there is a choice, to bow to the storm or to rise like Michael, with faith like fire. And what of trust? Not in what is seen, not in fleeting strength, but in that which cannot be measured. Michael did not rely on his power alone. He moved in rhythm with something far greater. Imagine yourself standing before the unknown, before forces beyond comprehension. Would you falter? Or would you, like Michael, step forward with the certainty that you are not alone? Preparation is the unseen armor of the soul. Michael was not strong simply because he was an archangel. He was strong because he dwelled near the source, drinking deep from the well of divine wisdom. And so, ask yourself, do you seek truth only in times of trial, or do you walk with it daily, gathering light before the darkness descends? The battle is not fought in a single moment. It is won in the quiet hours, in the unseen preparation of the spirit. Michael did not fight alone. He was not merely a warrior, he was a leader, a guide, a beacon. He spoke, and those who wavered found strength in his voice. Look around you. Who seeks your guidance? Who stands on the precipice, waiting for a word, a sign, a hand to hold? The power to uplift, to guide, is within you. Will you wield it? Now, step beyond the story. What if Michael's battle was never meant to remain in the past? What if the echoes of that war still vibrate through the fabric of reality, touching our world, our choices, our struggles? The fall of Lucifer was not merely an event, it was a revelation, one that continues to unfold. Michael's sword did not simply drive darkness from heaven, it carved a path, a calling, an eternal reminder that the battle between light and shadow is never truly over. And so I leave you with this. If the forces of heaven and rebellion once clashed in the unseen realms, who is to say that same battle is not being waged around us even now? Who is to say that in your choices, your struggles, you are not a part of something far greater than you ever imagined? The signs are there, waiting to be read. The mysteries whisper, waiting to be heard. Are you listening? These lessons from Michael's story are not just echoes of an ancient battle. They are whispers of an eternal truth woven into the fabric of existence. We may not see rebel angels waging war in the heavens, but the forces of light and darkness still collide within the choices we make every day. Michael's path was never one of ease, nor was his victory a mere stroke of fortune. It was forged through unwavering faith, through the fire of celestial war, and through an eternal vow to guard what is sacred. But Michael's mission did not end with Lucifer's fall. He moves beyond time, beyond the pages of Scripture, ever watchful, ever present. In the book of Daniel, Michael is revealed not as a distant figure of the past, but as a divine warrior standing between destruction and salvation, shielding the prophet from unseen forces that sought to twist fate itself. His presence was not just a fleeting moment in history, it was a testament to his eternal vigilance. And then, in the book of Revelation, the veil is lifted once more. The final battle is not yet over. The heavens will tremble again, and Michael will rise to stand between the forces of chaos and the divine order of creation. His sword, imbued with the will of the Almighty, will strike against the adversaries of light. This is not merely a prophecy, it is a revelation of a cosmic struggle. that continues beyond what human eyes can perceive. But what does this mean for us? The war is not only fought in celestial realms, it unfolds within us. Every time we choose kindness over cruelty, truth over deception, love over fear, we echo Michael's stand against the darkness. His presence is not bound to the heavens, it lingers in the quiet decisions we make, in the unseen battles of the soul. To understand Michael is to understand the eternal war, one that does not end with a single clash of swords, but continues in the choices we make, the faith we uphold, and the light we choose to carry. His vigilance, his unyielding devotion, is an invitation for us all to rise, to stand, to fight, not with weapons, but with unwavering truth. The battle is not over. It never was. We have long heard whispers that God is omnipresent, that he sees beyond the veil of time itself. But if that is true, then a question lingers in the shadows. Did he know Lucifer would rise against him? And if so, why did he allow the storm to gather? Where was the divine hand when the most radiant of angels sought to dethrone the Almighty? These are not mere questions, they are keys to a doorway, a passage into realms of truth that few dare to enter. What if the answers are not as simple as we have been told? What if hidden within these mysteries lies a deeper understanding, one that could shift the very foundation of our beliefs? The path to revelation is before you, veiled yet within reach. The answers wait, shrouded in the echoes of ancient wisdom, concealed within the mysteries of Christ. Step forward, cross the threshold, and uncover what has long been obscured. Watch the video now if you are ready to see beyond the veil. But this is only the beginning. The mysteries of the unseen world stretch far beyond a single revelation. If you seek to unravel more, to walk deeper into the unknown, then subscribe to Path to the Unknown and let the journey continue. The veil is thinning and the truth is calling. Will you answer?